This video is sponsored by Apple. Buy your Apple products for UChicago.
Hi guys, this is Chaplin. Today we have a very cute guest in our channel. She's my roommate as well as another YouTuber, Dasha!
Hi everyone.
Dasha, just introduce yourself a bit first. We'll get more to that.
Just a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a little bit.
Well, my name is Dasha. I am an international student from Russia and I'm also a first year at UChicago.
Dasha and I are doing collaborative video, so I'm gonna make a video with like two of us in my channel, and then she's gonna make another one in her channel. So subscribe and stay on tuned to the next video. So today we're going to reveal about the actual things about UChicago Deflation and GPA, which is notoriously like hated by a lot of people, but through our first quarter experience, we have some actual insight that we would like to share. However, spoiler alert that this is only our first quarter, and sometimes it might be easier for first quarter, and things might also be different if you're actually in our own shoes. So be aware of the accuracy, but this is definitely a video that was worth sharing and listening to. Okay, our majors and the courses we take in the first quarter. Let's start with Dasha.
Thank you. Well, I'm planning to major in environmental urban studies and economics, hopefully. And this quarter, the first quarter, I took 3 courses, which is something you can do. You can take 3 or 4 courses. So I took a humanity course called Reading Cultures, Math Calculus 1, and biology course, Introduction to Biology. And I actually had 4 classes to begin with. I had a Soc class, but I just found it a little bit too hard, too overwhelming, so I dropped it. And you know what? It's fun to drop a class.
Drop your class.
All the incoming UChicago students out there, drop your classes.
Drop your classes. Also, our roommate Luna also dropped her 4th class. Wait, is that also self?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Anyways, guys, it's like, okay, you can drop classes.
Yeah.
If you feel like it. Or don't drop classes, like Chaplin.
Damn. And a lot of people in the first few weeks, they drop their classes, and I can like literally feel that they are so much relief and then can manage their time better. Sometimes it's just better to put less things on their plate and gradually grow with it. My courses and my major, I plan to major in currently computer science and psychology. The course that I took in my first quarter is my Hume, which is media aesthetics, math, computer science, which is a major specific course, 151, using Dr. Racket. Anyways, it's not really a computer language, but and the 4th course I was taking is Soc. It's called Mind. It's almost like a psychology course. The next question is our impression of how each other study.
Okay, that's a funny one. Well, okay. I think Chaplin studies a lot. Like, I see her studying almost all the time in the room.
Damn.
However,
Okay.
it's like, not like the nerdy UChicago type of study, just like, because Chaplin has friends. So, I guess. I'm kidding. Chaplin has a lot of friends and she's just like very good at social life, so I think she has a good balance of studying, so it's not like, yeah, I think it's like productive enough to like get good grades that she wants, so.
Bro, I appreciate that. I'm almost about to cry.
It's okay.
My impression of Dasha is that I'm connecting
Is that
Dasha
my
with
name is very
Khamaza.
complicated? I'm kidding.
Very
Okay.
complicated. I feel like she like studied really efficiently, because most of the time when I saw her, she was either like hanging out or doing her job, or and like I feel like she balanced a lot of things well. Like for most of actually, I'm not gonna lie, but I barely saw her study. That's true though. Like,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, she got really good scores, and then she balanced other things like friendship,
What?
relationship,
What's
and
that?
work, job applications, as well as her like either like non-academic work or academic work, right?
Left with the brand.
She will talk more about that thing in her first quarter reflection, but she's definitely a comprehensive person.
Thank you. The good review. Highly recommend Dasha. Okay.
Should we talk about did we get an A in the end?
I mean, if you feel like it.
I feel like that's some like really important background information, like how.
Bro, imagine that would be our last quarter together. Like
Damn.
this video.
Okay.
You're like. Da-da-da-da.
Bye.
I mean,
A's.
realistically. Yeah, I mean, let's say it. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, we just say it in front of the camera already. So yeah, we got all A's in our first quarter, and that's some really important background information that you guys should know about our first quarter deflation reflection. Not to be flexed, but
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
But honestly, like, just like a small disclaimer, I honestly like have no idea how the rest of the quarter is gonna go, like how the rest of the year is gonna go, because all the classes are so different, and like when the majors come into play, like I have no idea how it's gonna go. So
same.
just in case, you know, just in
case we never got straight A's like in the next few years. A little bit about the background information of Chicago GPA deflation, if you guys don't know. A lot of people, like a great deterrent that like keep people from applying to Chicago is that they believe that the GPA is gonna be really, really greatly deflated, and they're not gonna get like A's in their transcript, which will be like really hard for them to like apply for future jobs, applications and stuff. We also enter the school with similar, I guess, like fear, but things just turned out to be a little bit different. So now we're gonna share about like our within quarter experience and our final grade breakdown. For our course, we're gonna break it down into class-wise, homework-wise, and exam-wise. So for the class-wide, it can be break down into lecture-based content and then discussion-based content. Lecture-based is more of like a STEM course, for example, biology, math. Well, personally, I feel like the lecture-based lectures are very much dependent on the professor himself. My math and CS professor, they are all like really, really greatly praised. They explain things really well. Whenever students feel like they're having a problem, they can just like easily raise up their hands, which is what most of the students in my class would do. And the professor would actually just stop and then explain the concept clearly. So personally, I don't find it really hard to like keep up with the content in my lecture-based lectures. Get your vaccines. Damn. But anyways, I feel like it's hard for people to attend the lectures. Okay. In my CS course, like in the first few classes, like 200 people within the room, and then in the last few weeks, it's like 30 people within the room. Most of the people just watch the lessons. It will definitely like decrease like the rate or the proportion that you actually soak in of the lecture.
Yeah, the discussion-based courses are essentially like, as the name is, you discuss stuff. So either you like read a book or an article or whatever was assigned like beforehand, and you come prepared to a class, and then you just talk. So everyone raises their hands and adds to a point, which I personally like this format more. I don't think anyone cares about it, but you know, my opinion, because you actually can contribute very easily, and you can hear other like ideas of other students. And mostly these classes are assessed, I believe, are assessed by essays or some sort of like long-term projects. For example, in our humanity class, we could use the ideas we heard in class or something that was shared in the discussion in our essays.
How do you find like the level of easiness in the like discussion within your lectures?
I think it's pretty easy because like there is no wrong answer there. It's not like math or something. You can just share what you feel like, and obviously sometimes it's like nonsense and people. Can I say bad words here?
Of course.
Okay,
bad words in Chaplin's channel. Let's go.
People can bullshit a lot. Like sometimes, well, if you don't like have much substantial things to say, you can just like repeat other ideas. But it's also like not a big deal because again, no wrong answer. Participation is what matters.
A lot of the times I feel like people are just saying things just for the sake of trying to participate, but that's something that I guess it would like happen every single discussion-based class, especially classes that would grade you on your participation. Yeah, but overall it's easy because most of the people in UChicago are somehow intelligently capable.
No, just like somehow intelligent. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Homework-wise, my STEM class, the first one is math. My math is like, okay, it's like homework once a week. But some of the homework in like my friend's math class is like not okay. Like, okay, my friend Luna, she has like 153 math in her first few weeks. And every weekend and every Friday, I feel like she's just doing her math homework. Like she never stops doing her math homework until she quit the class. So I think it really matters between like your professor, because math essentially is like a class that is taught by so many professors. The professor change all the time because everyone has to take it. So at the end of the day, it depends on the professor, her or his own like demand. So you might suffer a lot and you might not suffer. For my experience, I did not suffer at all. I love my professor.
Link in the description.
Link it in the description.
Okay.
Future UChicago students, feel free to contact him for classes. In my CS class, the workload is like 151 is notoriously known for its workload. It's like easy, but the workload is much. Personally, I feel like if you really like CS, you won't feel that like the workload is much because like all of the homework are like it's like playing games. It's like asking you to write a function for some situation. And for me, it's just like relaxation. Does that sound nerdy?
No, it's not.
Okay, but I don't find it really like the workload is much. You basically would spend like around 3 hours, I would say, per week for the homework itself. If you don't have like experience in coding, I guess you might need to spend like an extra 2 hours in reviewing. But overall, I think it's manageable.
For my STEM classes, it's also math and bio. Again, math, I didn't find it extremely difficult because, well, it was Calc 1, so it's like kind of the first level of math. However, the homeworks were really, really challenging, and I don't know, if not my study group, shout out to my study group, I don't think any of us would like do as well, because we really like helped each other, and explain stuff and like try to solve problems together. And also office hours really helped, so like go to your office hours. That's something I wrote in the reflection, like go to your office hours, because the professor would explain stuff that was on the homework. But also, like, again, Chaplin is absolutely right, it so much depends on the professor. So yeah, we had homework once a week, but it was really challenging. You would spend like the entire week doing it, but in the end of the day, it was like you got a really high grade because like you did it all together, and you could use like all the resources. Technically, my friend is in a couple of my friends, because Russians, you know, are in honors math, honors calc, and they are struggling. Like some of them, it's just like really hard, really unbearable. So it really depends on the level and like your level, of course, of preparation. And for bio, I took this amazing course with Professor Finesci. I think she's just like, because she was recommended to me, like she's like one of the best professors, I guess, here.
Let's go.
And she didn't assign us any homework at all. We only had the exams and labs and like some lab reports. So yeah, that was like really, really chill. Obviously you had to study, but like on your own.
Damn, so you see, like for UChicago students, we still like professor with no homework. It's the same. It's the same across country. It's the same across the world. For Hume and Soch,
So
damn, I feel like it's actually very, very chill.
okay, you go ahead. You know what? You know, just like it's your channel, bro.
Personally speaking, my English, like as especially reading as well as critical writing level, I suppose isn't at a high level, or I would say I am in the middle in my like student body. I can feel that when I was like communicating with the other students in my human course, as well as writing, there are some confusions when I'm doing like peer review. However, I feel like the workload itself, not to say like how good you perform, is actually okay. For my human class, there's only 3 essays that I'll need to write throughout the quarter. So it's like 3 weeks, there will be 1 essay that will be due, and each essay would be like around 700 to like 1,000 words. Not really much. It's really based on the quality itself, but most of the prompts are based on the materials that we read in class. So it's like, okay. But on grading, it's a little bit harsh. One of the major problems I find is that it's hard to find the preference of the professor. Some professors, they have really high like standard of your essay. Like they want you to think that way. If you have a thesis that is like directly opposite to it, they would just give you a low score. However, for some professors, they're like very flexible. They just grade you based on your evidence itself. This is like my case for my Soch class. For Soch class, it's even chiller. It's only 1 essay per quarter.
I'm gonna take mine next year. You're taking mine, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's okay. Actually, I realized that I missed something. We need to write like a 300-ish like small reflection on the materials that we read, but it's almost like notes. It's not really grading you on like the depth of level of thinking. It's just like how well you process the materials themselves. But at the end of the quarter, you just need to write one like 5-page like reflection essay, which is like I think Soch might be the chillest course I have in the quarter.
But that's a very interesting experience because yeah, like I dropped Soch because, well, first of all, it's important to know that international students would have different experience because like English is my 3rd language, and obviously like if I were to read stuff in like my first language, Russian, it would be so much easier and so much faster, and like writing essays in my first language would be so much easier. So it's kind of like a new level of challenge. And for me, Soch was just like I took the one called Power Resistance something, and it's like a lot of like Hobbes and other thinkers, which is like for me was like, what? There's so much reading, so many new words.
Yeah.
So obviously you're like, it's hard. It was really hard. But I think like next year if I take social, it would be easier for me. My Hume course, it was like discussion based, so we talked a lot, and that was pretty, like it was okay. On the reading note for Hume, I think we had to read like 100, 200 pages per week, which is pretty much okay if you like schedule it, if you know when to read stuff, and you can read fast, which I couldn't, so you know, whatever.
Most of the people in UChicago don't schedule their reading, so they freak out the day before their class, and they will be sad and they want to kill themselves.
That's kind of true. I see like people reading the night before, and I was the same person. But yeah, we also had like reflections that we kind of like notes that we had to write before each class. But overall, like the discussion part, the like reading part was absolutely fine. I don't want to say high school level, but like something like a little bit above high school level, so like a good one. However, the essays were graded really harshly. I think it's based on the professor again, but in the end of the day, participation kind of like balanced the grade out. So yeah, if I were to say, like to tell myself before coming here something, I would say don't stress about Hume because it will work out in the end.
It will work out in the end. But definitely I feel like there are people that got into UChicago that are like really STEM-ish people, and they just kind of hate Hume because they don't like Hume course or social course at all. This is kind of like the setbacks, but I feel like it's some case for like a really, really small group of people because most people here like a lot of stuff. For example, my STEM course, CS and math, they only have 2 exams per quarter, so which is like it is like 5 weeks and you got like 1 midterm and then another 5 weeks you got a final exam. I guess it's pretty chill. Usually professors would have the outline of like the scope of the exam, and you would basically have like 1 or 2 weeks to prepare for it. I've never really seen any questions that is out of the scope of the materials that I was taught in class, so I feel them like manageable. But according to the average average score of my final as well as midterm in my class of that course, it's potentially not manageable. Like a lot of people got really low scores in my STEM class, so I believe the midterm of my CS course average score is 87, which is like okay, but then the final it's like 70, which is it's CS, so if you got a 70, it's a little bit, there's probably like a little bit of problem in your understanding of the syntax of the code. And for math, it's even worse. The average score is like around 50 to like 60s. I think one of the biggest reason of that is that a lot of students didn't attend the class. The funny stuff is that one of my friends, like in the math class, that he said that like in his midterm, he saw a lot of people that like he had never seen in class, like a lot of new friends happening to be in the class to be taking the same exam. But yes, I feel like attendance is like the biggest reason that people don't get good grades.
For math, yeah, it was the same. We had like 1 midterm and 1 final exam, and a lot of homeworks that were also like a part of the grade. On bio exam we had, yeah, same, also a midterm and a final, but our professor made the final one like sort of like a midterm, so it wasn't comprehensive, it was just like the part that we didn't cover yet. And I don't know, should I say about my grades on the exams?
Sure.
Okay, so for like bio, I did not get A's in any of my exams, but I ended up with an A finally, which was for me honestly surprising. I was like, no way that's gonna happen. But that's, yeah, it's just like something that I think you shouldn't stress. You should like consider that getting a B or like a lower grade on the exam does not mean that that's gonna be a final grade.
Yes, exactly. Actually, one of my friends, I think she got a 49.5 out of 100 in her math test, and she got an 8 in the end. So it's like, you never know. But
that's promising. Honestly, that's like calming me down for the next year, but that's fine.
Hume and social essays is, actually, we've talked about that, so we're not just gonna repeat things, but it's basically just write essays based on the materials that you had in class, and the quality, I mean, you can like try to reassure the quality by attending office hours with the professor, but sometimes it's just not gonna work. Professors sometimes won't give you that much recommendation or suggestion, but it varies between cases. Overall, from my perspective, I don't really have my professor don't really offer that much like suggestions based in office hours, because they feel like if they're gonna give suggestions, it's better for them to give everyone like the opportunity to have suggestions. So when I email them, they're like, probably I'll like grade it when you submit the assignment. Yeah, but overall manageable.
So what about the grade deflation then?
this is where we come to our final breakdown of our grades. For the STEM course, let me say a bit about my CS as well as my math grading. The CS course, I believe most of the grades is based on homework. Damn, I just said the wrong thing. Sorry. I'm gonna say it again. Cut. So for my CS breakdown, I believe most of the grades comes from our final as well as midterm. And then the second, it comes to our homework. So either it will just be homework or there will be like final projects, which is like a really big, probably like 2-week length project that you need to do, which is basically really similar to homework. It's they just call it project, so you don't really know what's happening. Probably they just want to be like, okay, no homework right now. You're just gonna have to do projects. Some kind of relief. But it's basically the same thing. And also there is another thing called lab. So each Tuesday there will be like a really small homework-like thing. They just call lab. So basically, CS department, they're trying to like diversify the terms of your homework so that you don't feel that painful. No participation grade. So if you do well in your homework, let's say homework, in the general homework and your exam, you'll be good. I feel like most of the CS work is just you really need to understand the syntax of the code and some of the prominent let's say errors that you might have when you're coding. Professor usually stress it many times during the lectures. So when you review your notes, you kind of know where the emphasis are at. So and for like homework, you can like run the code several times. So basically, if you have enough time to do it and you start early, when at the time that you submit the work, you basically is gonna get like 100%, unless is a bit of the problem in the syntax, like how you indent the code or how you like align the code or like the naming, like the really basic stuff. It just depends how careful you are.
I think exams do count as like the major part of your grade. That's what I remember. I would say like 60-70% maybe even, at least for our course that was the case, and the rest is homework. So obviously like no one cares about your participation, sorry. Like I mean it's math, so but yeah, I think with math it's very like concept based. Like if you understand the concepts, you will do well on both homeworks and the exams. So for me, math is like pretty straightforward, pretty chill.
It's the same case.
I ended up. Should I say my grade?
Yes.
I was like,
say your grade.
Yeah, I ended up getting an A, but I was like, that's the only subject I was actually confident in. Because like, what's math?
Bro, didn't you just say that you were like least confident about math?
No, least confident about you.
Oh really? Oh wait, okay.
Because it's so like subjective.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Math is math.
Oh, I remember there's one time when we had a party in our dorm, and then like the course, like the grade of your essays, like your course just came out. So 3 people just leave my dorm and then go and check their grade, and they never come back.
We were like screaming, we were so mad on the grade. Oh my gosh. But also like, yeah. I kind of like, I did not expect myself to do like super well in Hume. I definitely did like better than I expected. Sorry for like ruining the plan.
No problem at all.
About Hume. But like when you like don't write essays in English every day, and you don't come from like American or English speaking high school, obviously like you will not expect yourself to like write perfect essays, and that's okay because you like that's why we're in college. That's why we have Hume to actually like learn and then later on write better essays.
Exactly. So are there any boost up tools and deflation tools that you find?
Well, speaking of like the boundaries for like an A's 93 or something. Did it die?
Yeah, it's that it's too hot. Okay, so we were just talking about COVID, and obviously the Omicron is spreading as fuck in our campus. Yeah, there might be a chance that the campus is gonna go like online, but we'll see. Yep.
So I would say like if we're talking about deflation, I think it's more of a myth as of now. It's definitely like harder because you are in college and people here at UChicago specifically are like very smart and all very prepared, so you would not be like maybe on top of your class, or it's going to be a little bit harder than like in high school to get on top of your class if something that's what you want to do. But I would say that like per se it's not like extremely impossible to get high grades, to get all A's, etc.
Yeah, I think as long as you use your office hours whenever you have problems, ask there are resources that are like created by probably your peers that can like tutor you, or just reach out to the professors, or reach out whenever you have problems. It will be easy for you to catch up or just keep up with the pace of the class and to get a good grade at the end of the day. Because I remember there's a line in the syllabus in my CS class. It's like, we're here to teach you, not to give you bad grades. And at the end of the day, the professors really won't like try to deflate the grades if a lot of the kids in the class are like super smart and get good grades in the class. They will just be happy for you. So definitely don't be fearful that UChicago is a place where only like a group of people can get like the best scores. As long as you try, things will be fine for you. So for people who are determining whether you want to like go to UChicago if you got admitted by like our EA or RD or ED2, you don't really have a choice. Don't be scared and come to us. We'll be happy to meet you, class of 2026.
Kidding, yeah.
What are we kidding about?
In overall, yeah, I think I said it before, just like don't worry actually, don't think the test is the only, like whatever you got in the test would be your final grade. It's not the case. Like also disclaimer, like grades are not the most important part. They were pretty much important in high school if you wanted to like go further to some college, but here it's like your internships, your networking,
Exactly.
your like everything, your personal experience, everything matters like equally as grades. I personally think so, and I've heard that from other people. So I would say, yeah, I don't really have much of the improvement. I definitely want to like figure out my schedule and like be a little bit more structured, because the first quarter was kind of like a lot of adjustments and just like figuring stuff out.
For me, I would personally think I didn't diversify my time. I remember there would be a few days where I just spent like the whole day in the library trying to finish homework and the required reading. I feel like those would actually give me like good grades at the end of the day. But when I like look back and try to reflect on my usage of time, it's like I should have done like other things, like probably go to the museum with friends, or like probably make music, or probably make more YouTube videos for you guys. Save someone who updated only twice last quarter. And try more like things in other aspects, such as job application, internships, or a non-academic fun. There are a lot in Chicago that we actually haven't explored yet, so we'll also need to do that to make our life more interesting instead of just being like a studying machine. Yes, so that's very much of our video. So in Dasha's channel, we're gonna talk about
Reflection on the first quarter, just like everything overall.
reflection on the first quarter. So this is very much of today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you find 5% of this content useful, subscribe. It will mean so much to me. And I'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.